I have commenced recording.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the May 2021 meeting of the Silicon Valley Fourth Interest Group. I'm Dave Jaffe. I'll be the Kevin Appert for today, scheduling, organizing the session. I want to thank everybody for showing up and your interest in Fourth. And we're going to get started this morning with Bill Ragsdale. He's going to give us some context for his talks later on regarding World War II. So I'll turn the screen over to Bill. Take it away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great to be here today. This is a little interlude warm-up while the last people kind of straggle into the next few minutes. It's going to set the context for the two talks that I'll be giving later on. And one of them is heavily Fourth related, and the other one I gave at a local amateur radio club, and it's tangentially related. The two are tangentially related together. So one will probably be the biggest non-Fourth talk we've ever had. So we're going to talk today. I'm going to present about some of the background information on World War II. So after World War II, after World War I, the Treaty of Versailles, which was signed in June of 1919, put very onerous financial and geopolitical requirements on Germany. As a result of those requirements, the German state from 1918 to 1933, the Weimar Republic, experienced hyperinflation and the Great Depression, which led to its rearmament in the 1930s and aggression in Eastern Europe. During that time, the key leaders in Britain saw a possible risk coming, and they began the technical development of radar and put an increasing effort in the decryption of German military traffic. This led ultimately to the organization of Bletchley Park, which was the wartime home of Alan Turing, and it was operated by the Government Code and Cipher School as a part of the military intelligence MI6. As we all know from the movies, MI6 was the home to James Bond. And incidentally, it was the home to Ian Fleming, who in World War II was in the military intelligence service. So at this time, Germany had a very strong land army. They had a developing air force, a modest navy, and a fleet of 40 submarines, which ultimately grew to almost 400. The German strategy developed into number one, the control of all of Europe, to isolate and starve England into isolation by the submarine warfare on inward shipping, and number three, to avoid motivating the United States into joining the war, so they did not sink US ships during this time period. However, the attack on Pearl Harbor changed all that as the US joined the war in December 11th, 1941. The full industrial capacity of the United States and its armed forces, augmented by its allies, led to D-Day and the concluding land war in Europe. In the Battle of the North Atlantic, the Germans decoded maritime shipping codes used by ship convoys to England, which enabled their submarine attacks. On the other hand, the English decoded the German naval code to locate the submarines. So there was a hidden war going on message decryption between Germany and the Allies. As the German encryption evolved, the British went from hand decoding to electromechanical decoding to fully electronic decoding with the vacuum tube Colossus machine. The Colossus was the forerunner of modern computers. In a couple of incarnations, it had 2,000 vacuum tubes. And incidentally, for reliability's sake, they soldered the vacuum tubes in place because of the worry about unreliability of sockets. Ultimately, the code breaking by the English became a production line providing a steady stream of intelligence to all Allied forces around the world. The key technologies of World War II include radar, long-range aircraft, radio direction finding, secure teleprinter by radio, along with automated code breaking. And we'll talk more about the code breaking today. So later I'll present how the encrypted German military messages were intercepted, and then a fourth emulation of that encryption. So that's my set the scene for everybody. Looks like we have a full house today, 20 people. So I'll turn it back to Dave.